trauma with this guy, man, and the whole situation. And I just want to say, I think he needs a lot of prayer, and he needs mental health, like the things that we can relate to, you know?
Absolutely.
I think that's what's going to save him or help him. Nothing else. I don't think we should talk about him. I don't think we should make fun of him.
You guys, what has recently surfaced with Q of Day 26 and Diddy is just awful. Everyone has often told us that they experienced something with Diddy. Because he had the key to everything, the bad boy artists had it the worst. However, when we believed we had heard everything there was to say about Diddy, what Q was doing only opened up another level of turmoil. We are still only scraping the surface, according to Q.
I kept trying to get in contact with him because all I wanted was an apology. All I kept saying, like, could you apologize? Like, could you just apologize for what I can't talk about right now? But I just wanted to apologize because something was wrong with me, man. Something was wrong. And like when your last Vlad interview, you could look at me and tell like something was wrong. Like I wasn't the enthused person. I wasn't cute. I looked like stressed. I looked like I was in a dark place. So like you could tell like something was wrong. Like,
according to him, he woke up one day to discover a tape of himself circulating, footage that was allegedly recorded by Diddy. What made it even more disturbing was that he had no memory of when or how it happened. The only thing he says he's certain about is this: there's no way it could have occurred without Dawn Richard helping Diddy, allegedly as part of paying her dues. So the real question is, what exactly is Q trying to reveal?
Talk to Diddy?
Not as often as I'd like, but that's the homie forever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know that Puff had bought me out of a contract prior to even getting on the show. Like it wasn't I chose Puff over my group at the time. It was more of when someone does that, where I come from, you got to respect that on a large level. So I gave loyalty to him. All his crazy, I look at things like that as loyalty. So I was loyal to him and I paid my dues back like a businesswoman should.
Right.
Until he said, okay, your dues are paid. And then I left.
If you've been paying attention since the Cassie scandal that exploded in 2023, and the RICO charges that followed, exposing just how deeply the industry protected Diddy, then you already know the rumors. Diddy allegedly kept tapes and records on nearly everyone who crossed his path. That's how he maintained control and stayed powerful for so long. Most people assumed those tapes came from Diddy's infamous freak-offs, believing the people involved were willing participants who didn't realize every corner of his home was allegedly monitored. But what if Q is telling a different story? What if that's not how it happened at all? According to Q, Diddy still managed to gain leverage over him, despite Q being extremely careful to protect his image and avoid compromising situations. Q Mosley of Day 26 rarely spoke publicly about Diddy, and when he did, it was clear the subject shook him deeply. At times, he appeared visibly distressed, even breaking down in tears. That silence may say more than words ever could.
I don't understand. No, it's okay, bro. I don't understand why someone would sit down and think about hurting someone. I don't know. Or laugh about it after they do it, you know. Like, I don't get it. That's why I said none of them are innocent. I'm not here to expose anybody, but none of them are innocent, man. Like, none of them are innocent. Y'all all coming after this man for millions of dollars when y'all were a part of it as well.
Even earlier this year, when he appeared in an interview alongside the rest of his group, Q seemed visibly shaken when asked whether anything had ever happened between him and Diddy. The question appeared to trigger him, and he struggled to respond. It wasn't until a separate interview with Aubrey O'Day that the reason he finds it so difficult to speak about Diddy, and the things he says he witnessed, became clearer. Back when Day 26 was active, Q was dating Dawn Richard, who was also signed to Bad Boy Records. They became the first widely known couple within the label since Faith Evans and the Notorious B.I.G., and their relationship was so public that it became a major storyline on Making the Band. According to Q, one day Dawn approached him and suggested he try something new, a pill she said came from Diddy. She showed him a second pill meant for herself, implying that the two of them would spend time together later. Q says that after taking the pill, everything went blank. When he regained consciousness, he recalls waking up to see Diddy standing over him, surrounded by several other men who were laughing. Q says he woke up screaming, his body overwhelmed by a disturbing sensation that something had happened to him, yet he couldn't fully understand or remember what it was. That confusion, he says, has haunted him ever since.
My ex at the time, which was Dawn, she gave me an ecstasy pill. And she said...
Is that what she said it was?
Yeah, she said it was ecstasy, and she said it was her puff to give to me. And it was red. And I took it because I thought I was going to get freaky with my girlfriend. You know, we tried ecstasy before, and I trusted her that's what it was. He gave her 2 of them. I took mine. Within like 20 minutes, I knocked out and blacked out. I woke up in the twins' bedroom in the basement, and I woke up out of my sleep screaming very, very loud.
Who are the twins?
I don't know their names.
You're talking about Diddy's
Diddy's
daughters?
twins, yeah. Diddy's twins, his girls. Yeah, I woke up in their bed. Canberra's filming me, and they were laughing as I woke up out of my sleep, screaming. And it felt like... I'm not gonna cry.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time. It's okay. It's understandable that you're reliving this and emotion comes with it. There's just no way around it. So
It felt very sacrificial. That's what I meant when I said, I felt like they were trying to hurt me, or Diddy was trying to maybe sacrifice me that night.
Someone even left a comment trying to explain what Q may have been experiencing, writing, "The thing is, he wasn't asleep. He was awake the entire time." What he describes as waking up was really his consciousness returning to his body. That explanation resonated, especially after Q revealed that when he later confronted Dawn, he learned the pill wasn't a typical recreational substance at all, it was closer to a powerful sedative. What made the situation even more disturbing was the revelation that Dawn never actually took the pill she claimed she would. According to Q, she only pretended to take it to make him feel safe. Once she saw that he had taken his, she allegedly discarded hers and signaled for Diddy to enter. Q also emphasized that there were 2 red pills, and that she never took hers. That detail, he said, has haunted him ever since. He described the experience as feeling less like a shared moment and more like an experiment, as if he had been reduced to a test subject in a twisted trial to see how quickly he would collapse. His trust, he said, had been manipulated, and his vulnerability exploited. Afterward, Q claims he began suffering from severe psychological effects, auditory hallucinations, racing thoughts, paranoia, overwhelming anxiety, memory loss, and cognitive confusion. He says his thoughts became fragmented, his memory deteriorated, and he felt as though his mind had regressed. With the help of doctors and loved ones, he had to relearn basic functions. The experience, he says, broke him mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Importantly, Q has made it clear that he is not only referring to Diddy, he is also implying that Dawn Richard may have played a role as an accomplice. It didn't take long for Dawn to respond publicly. In her statement, she said, "I want to be unequivocally clear. I have never drugged anyone, nor have I ever given anyone pills to take. The suggestion that I did so is categorically false. If such a belief were genuine, it would be inconsistent with the actions that followed, such as inviting me into your home, introducing me to your family, and continuing a relationship with me." She went on to argue that Q's continued interactions with her, including social events and shared living situations, contradicted his claims. However, many people immediately noticed the parallels between Dawn's defense and the same logic often used to discredit other alleged victims, essentially asking why someone would stay if something traumatic had occurred. Critics pointed out that this reasoning mirrors the way Cassie was questioned and doubted. Others also raised an important inconsistency. Dawn's statement referenced Q introducing her to his family after the alleged incident, yet Q never publicly specified when the incident occurred. That raised questions about how she could confidently frame his actions as occurring afterward. Not long after, Dawn removed the statement altogether. Instead, a defense emerged from Jordan, Diddy's former chef, who publicly supported Dawn, insisting she was not lying and suggesting that Q was alone in his interpretation of events. That response only intensified public scrutiny, leaving many to ask whether this was truly about the truth, or about protecting reputations at all costs.
Also, before I forget, Dawn Richard is not a liar. Dawn's not a liar. I was in LA for a lot of stuff that happened, and I was also in New York and the Hamptons, with Dawn and Day 26. So a lot of you know. You know, the trip where, like, after that, Q lost his mind and he was never really the same. I was in the Hamptons. Actually forget how much that I was really around for. So yeah, John Richard is not a liar, has never been a motherfucking liar. If you guys knew, okay, working for someone that weaponizes food and punishes people and not allowing them to eat or sleep and berating them and all of that, like, yeah.
It became clear that Q was finally ready to speak and release what he'd been carrying for more than 2 decades. When Jordan made her public comments, he didn't argue or engage in back and forth. Instead, he posted a short clip of the video he had been referencing all along, letting the footage speak for itself. According to Q, Jordan wasn't even present when the incident happened. So he questioned how she could claim to know what occurred unless someone else had told her what to say. The video, he says, only reinforced his account. In it, Q appears visibly disoriented, confused, and struggling to process what's happening around him, far beyond what would be expected from simply waking up. He's also noticeably drenched, which he believes supports his claim that he had been given something extremely powerful. Dawn is seen in the video laughing and startling him, behavior that Q says was especially disturbing given what he now believes she already knew. For him, the fear came not just from the physical state he was in, but from the slow realization that the people he trusted had played a role in it. Some viewers also noticed a moment just before the camera abruptly shifts, when Diddy appears to reach for something off-frame. The footage cuts away quickly, and Q has implied that the camera movement was intentional, meant to prevent whatever happened next from being recorded. Rather than arguing online, Q chose to let that moment stand on its own. For him, the video wasn't about provoking drama, it was about finally showing why he stayed silent for so